yeah.
Oh,
So is this where you guys,
Yeah.
where you guys met me and got the information, right? This Joe Dispenza study group.
yes.
Okay, cool. So I started this about 3.5 years ago, I think. I had never heard of Joe Dispenza. I happened to be scrolling on Facebook and I came across Joe Dispenza Soulmates or fan club or some other page. And I got involved in a conversation about Joe Dispenza, who he was, and he seemed really interesting to me. And I was like, okay, this is cool. It felt, I was aligned with what was being like the conversation. And someone had mentioned that Joe Dispenza had written many books. And I was like, okay, what are some of these books? So there was a small group of us who wanted to start a book club and study together. And so I was like, cool, let's do it. And so I started this page, Joe Dispenza Study Group, specifically to do a book club. Now, my thought with this group was it would be like 12 people. So now there is over 38,000 people and I'm like, holy cow. And I'll be honest, this has been like one of my most human experiences in my insecurities and inadequacies, because I'm like, I don't know how to help 38,000 people. I just want to start a book club, right? Like that's all I want to do. And so it's been a big, again, human experience, fear, insecurity of leading people. I also do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I do believe that there's no mistake that this has happened. And so I have been through a lot in the last 3.5 years. I've done a lot of work on myself and I'm finally ready and willing to create whatever happens. I'm ready to put the energy into something, into this. And this is what I decided. I decided to go back to a book club because that was the intention of the group. I was like, how do I provide value for people? That's really I have a word of the year, and my word of the year is value. And so that has been my biggest focus, is where can I provide value? And what came to me is I started this book club, or I started this Facebook page as a book club. So let's go back to that. So that's why I wanted to start becoming Supernatural Book Club. So thank you for being a part of it. Like, I'm super, super excited for this. Now, with that being said, I am going to share the documents that I have sent out, and I have already updated them a little bit more. So first, again, just welcome. My intention for this book club, the best way for me to share like what I want to create here, actually, I'm going to just read straight from the foreword of this book. Okay, so as I read this part, if anything comes to you guys, I would love, like, again, this is open dynamic. The beauty of having a small group is we get to know each other and we get to like share and contribute. Like, this is not me leading, this is our club here, and we get to choose to create what we want together. So if you have the book with you, go to the forward on page, it's XIV. And I will read that. Oh, hold on, I'm in the introduction. All right. So it's the very last paragraph, the very beginning. He's talking about the yogi. Have you guys had a chance to read the foreword and the intro yet? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So you know the story, you know the yogi, you know what he was able to do and what he was teaching, right? Is that we are one with everything, that there is no separation between me and you, even though Justine is in Poland, right? There really is no separation. We are all one. And that's hard for our brains to conceptualize. But as I was feeling into what's the intention, what's the why behind this book club? This is what came up for me. It's the key to the yogi's teaching is this: when we experience for ourselves or witness in another person something that we've once believed to be impossible, we are freed in our beliefs to transcend those limitations in our own lives. I'm like I get the chills every time I read that, because have you guys ever had an experience where you're like, I can't do that. That's not possible. But then you have a friend or a mentor or a coach who you saw do it and you're like, okay, maybe I can do that. Has anyone experienced that?
Yes.
And if you have, would you share what that experience was for you?
So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that is so in touch with energy, like separate from people, separate from, she's in touch with this energy, and she has these gifts that I know I don't have, and she can actually see my blind spot, and she can energetically feel these things that I have no idea how she does it, but I know it's real and I know it works, and it's given me the hope of possibilities of a place that I can go to.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Randy, for sharing. Does anyone else want to share anything that comes up for them? I'll share. I have a couple friends who have started amazing coaching groups and who are incredibly intuitive and intentional leaders. And I see how they lead and how they show up, not just in their own life, but in the life of the close people that they have. And like, that is so inspiring to me. Like, that is so inspiring to me. And as I have seen, like I've known her for a few years and she just started her coaching group this last year. And so I've seen her progress and her own insecurities and how she was in her head wanting to create this, but feeling limited and have, you know, her humanness was stronger than her spirit. And so she was in limitation and she was like, oh, you know, like I'm not there yet. Right. And she finally, something shifted where she snapped, she launched it, and she is doing incredible things. And she has created the coolest group that I have ever been a part of. I'm grateful to be part of it. It's a group of women and it's called Gentle Warrior. And I have never been in a space with women that is so vulnerable, intimate, empowering all at the same time, and honest and authentic. Like it's incredible. And so as I've watched her in her journey, I'm like, she just did that. Like if she can do it, I can too. I can too. And truthfully, she's a big reason why I'm even here on this call today, that I've been willing to step into my own fear and discomfort and do this. So I'm so grateful for her. But why I put this as the intention of the group is because this is the kind of community that I want to create. And no better way to do it than studying Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. I want to create a community that we are open and authentic and willing to be vulnerable with ourselves and honest with ourselves and do the work, but that because of the incredible community that we have, we inspire each other so much that we step into the mystical, which this leads into the next section. If we move to the introduction on page XXIV, this is the second portion of my intention and my why that I'm creating this. It's on XXIV and it's the second to last, it's the last paragraph under chapter 1. This is where he's going through the chapters and saying what's inside each chapter and giving a quick synopsis. Actually, I'm going to start the paragraph above. It says, this book is as much about the mystical as it is about healing and creating new opportunities in our lives. The majority, if not all, of the content that I hear and when people are studying Joe Dispenza, the content is majority, I want to heal myself. I want to heal my pain. I want to create financial abundance. I want to create the home of my dreams. It's all about the creation aspect of it, which is beautiful. And this is why later in the agenda, I put, you are your own creator. I am my own creator. But for me to do that, I have to do my work. I have to be willing to look inside and step into those parts that are scary and lonely and dark and beautiful and all the things. And if I'm willing to do that, what Joe Dispenza teaches us is not only can we create these opportunities for us. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can heal ourselves. Yes, we can create whatever life we want. But also, this book is as much about the mystical as it is about the healing. And that to me was like so exciting. Like the mystical, like tell me more. Like I want to experience this, right? So these two things I felt were the best way to share with you guys what my intention of this book club was. It's number one, to create a community where we inspire the heck out of each other. And it even goes beyond inspiration. It's, I have a limiting belief because of where I'm coming from, but Stacy is coming from where she's coming from, and she killed it. She blew that out of the water. And because I saw her do it, I can now let go of that limitation. And now I can step into a more expansive reality. But that's only because of the community that we have and the relationships that we have fostered in that community. And then the second part is in that community also that I want to experience healing, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental. I want to experience healing for myself. And I want you all to experience whatever healing you want to experience. And I want to create new opportunities for myself. And I want you guys to do the same. And I want to experience mystical experiences.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I want to be able to do that like whenever I want. Yep. I want to be able to have command of my humanness to the point that I can say, hey, I'm going to be human for a second, and that's okay. And I'm going to embrace the insecurity. I'm going to embrace my fear. I'm going to be human. And that's part of the experience, right? Mm-hmm. Because the truth is, without the human experience, we can't experience the mystical. We can't. And so as I learn to love and embrace my human experience, I also then can shift and experience that mystical on demand as well. That's what I want to create here. How does that feel for you guys?
I love it.
Delicious.
Love it.
Delicious. I love that word. I love that word. Awesome. Okay, so I love that feels aligned for you guys. And again, if you have anything to share and contribute, if you're getting a ping in your heart that says share, 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 that's part of creating these opportunities for you. Please do it. Please stop me. This is the benefit of having a small group. And I really encourage all of us to be vulnerable and trust our intuition. So with that, I want everyone to introduce themselves. I know I got a little sneak peek as you all came on, but I would love to go around and each of you, if you'll share your name, where you're from, and then what inspired you, really anything that your heart feels called to share. If anything about Joe Dispenza, how long have you been studying him? What inspired you to join this group? Just, take about 30 seconds to a minute and share whatever is on your heart. So, Justina, are you in a place that you can share right now?
Okay, yes, sure.
Awesome.
With pleasure. So, my name is Justine. I am from Poland. First time I heard, I did not even heard about Joe Dispenza, but I found his speech about yellow giants on YouTube, and that was that spoke to me. That was something shocking close to me because I had an event when I was 14 when I fell down and I was unconscious. And when I woke up, I could not move, I could not talk for I don't know how long. And then it all came back, and I was perfectly good, and I did not even have any bruise or anything. And I didn't know what happened because I did not remember, but for so many years I had a feeling that there was something, so much love and tenderness that happened to me, that tears were coming to my eyes when I was thinking about that. So that was my experience when I was 14. And since that moment I realized that my life is really important, that my choices are important. That was this event that made me understand that. And when I heard this speech of Dr. Joe Dispenza, that started to come back to me, and I fully understood that this is this kind of event, like like these people that say, after being healed by those yellow giants, or whatever you call them, higher consciousness, and they talk about, on first place, they talk about this love and tenderness that happened to them. And that was my first time when I heard him. And since that moment I wanted very much to know more and more and more. Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you for
So
sharing, Justine.
mhm. Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
Mm,
incredible.
and then the time of pandemic was very difficult to me, because I'm a medical doctor in a very small outpatient clinic near Warsaw. So so it was extremely difficult time. And one time when I had well, after all day working, because I was on my own, all alone here as a doctor, because every doctor were locked in one place to work, so we could not move from one place to another. In Poland it was the case. And so if I were to be sick, for example, I had no one to even give prescriptions of my patients. I have over 2,000 patients, so it was like difficult to imagine for me. No other plan for this situation. And one day after work, I just started to feel all those symptoms that my patients were talking about, everything, pain, all kind of cough and fever and everything. And then I just lie down, and I had access to advanced meditations, because I booked already this. Immediately when I started to listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, I booked this Barcelona meeting that was postponed, but Dr. Joe Dispenza allowed us there was a group called Community. He gave lots of lectures during, I don't know, 1 week maybe. That helped me so much. That exactly like you were talking about. That changed my vision and my feeling of safety in this world, in this universe, in this situation. And when I did, I don't remember exactly which meditation I did, but after this meditation, I stood up, and I had no more any symptoms. So that was like, just I yeah, that was mm, yeah. So after that, I was in in Europe after. And now I am here, and I'm so happy that you created this group. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Justina, can I ask, what is
Yeah.
like, if you could narrow down to one thing right now that you are wanting to create for yourself, what would that be?
I want to deepen my unity with everything and everybody, and the universe, and this unity with love, and which is like harmony in my heart, and calmness, whatever happens outside of me.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you very
And
much.
that's also something that I realized. I don't know, can I say a few more sentences, 2 more,
Of course.
just quickly?
Yes.
So one time when I was doing walking meditation in the forest, I live on the border of the forest near Warsaw. I realized I was just, when looking back, I had tears in my eyes, and I realized that this is like not really sadness, just longing to the unity and love where I come from, that where my soul comes from. And this is something I can't meet here. And then when I realized and understood from Dr. Joe Dispenza lectures that this is something I can meet living here. I can just go there, have as much as I need, and then come back and live here. And that's what I want to learn
Yes.
more and more.
Beautiful. Thank you, Justina.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Stacy.
Okay, hi. I'm Stacy, and I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is just south of Tampa. I still identify as a Coloradan, though. Colorado's way cooler people, I'll tell you that much. But I was done with that snow. So let's see. I probably found Joe Dispenza maybe something like 5 years ago because of the Gaia Network and him doing, Rewire, right? Where he talks about being able to rewire your brain and stuff, and just fascinating. I was just fascinated with him, really. And then hearing his story of like breaking his back, all these vertebrae and stuff, and the medical community wanting to put his spine in a cage, and he just healed himself right there in the hospital is an amazing story. So so I've always been like curious about, like, is magic real or is magic fake, right? And then you get some story like this, it's like, oh, maybe those magicians can levitate, like maybe that's real, right? So I just have always been fascinated by that kind of stuff. And then as of late, like 2 years ago, I found this education company out of Australia called Conscious Education Companies, which is why I'm a coach. I'm a magnetic mind coach. And they teach how to, like, they teach really, and I teach now, that we've been taught a problem-solving orientation, and that's the way we function our lives, and we're just trying to solve problems. We think that there's something wrong with us, that we can't attain anything because there's something wrong with us that we need to fix. This is what we've been taught, and the truth is that you can have it all now, and you are perfect just the way you are. You don't have to change anything. You just need to be in a creation mindset instead of a problem-solving mindset, because problem solving is just giving you more of your problems. And when you live in creation, you're really in the end result. You put yourself in the end result, which Joe Dispenza talks about too, of the be it to see it philosophy and such. So it's been amazing. And I at first did like their masterclass and then was like, I just need to be a coach. So I was a preschool teacher for 20 years. And then with COVID, I closed my preschool because I think it's beautiful, but everyone figured out how to keep their kids at home, which is to me a beautiful thing. So, and then I was without purpose for a little while. And now I'm in Florida helping take care of my stepfather who has Alzheimer's and lives with me. And during that time is like when I became a coach. And right now I'm just launching my coaching business called MetaHuman Life and I'm doing it organically through social media with a business coach that's really amazing guy. Yeah. So if I was to have one thing that I want to create, I choose to create, I really choose to create a abundant business that teaches and inspires others to live the life they love. There you go.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And what you shared about your coaching and what you had found in being in creation, right, versus problem solving. And then Joe Dispenza, who's the you know, our leader and what we're studying, that's exactly my intention. Like he unlocked that limitation for us. Like, and the more proof we get and the more people in our lives that we connect with, that limitation is, there's less resistance to it.
So I will
Right.
say also the one thing that I really thought was amazing with Magnetic Mind masterclass and stuff
Yeah.
is that we learned about our three minds, right? You have like your unconscious and your self-conscious, and then we all have super consciousness too. And that's definitely something none of us have ever been taught about, but we can affect the field, like we can step into the field. And one thing that is beautiful about magnetic mind work is that rather than talk therapy, like Chris Duncan is the founder of Magnetic Mind, and he always says that you're not broken, the mental health system is broken. And truly, there is this process that was originally by Gary Flint, like Dr. Gary Flint, I think in like the 50s, I'm going to say, that very few people know about, but it's really connecting to your superconscious and another person allowing to be connected to theirs, right? And giving commands to the superconscious to ease pain, like past trauma pain and emotions, to ease pain and to increase joy. And it is amazingly profound work and is beautiful. And that's why I decided to become a coach of it. And yeah, and here we
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stace. I appreciate it. Khadijah, let's have you share.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Khadijah Ali Wilson. I live in the great state of North Carolina. I've had a journey. I've lived East Coast, West Coast, all over, North, South, everywhere. I discovered Dr. Joe probably about 5 years ago. Started reading Becoming Supernatural. So I opened it today and I see where I was underlining things back then. And I think for me, just I knew very early on there had to be more to life. And so I've been on this journey of, okay, what is that more? And the long or the short, when I came across Dr. Joe's teachings, it just resonated with me in a very practical way. He leads you scientifically to the mystical, I feel like. And so I think the biggest thing that I want to walk away with, or that I'm desiring from, being in this space, is this unshakable, just this unshakable belief in myself that no matter what, who, where, how, when, that the belief that I have in myself is so strong that whatever it is that I desire to have, because of that belief I have in myself, that it will materialize. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Khadijah. Randy.
Yeah. So about the past 25 years, I have been impassioned about the fusion of science and spirituality. And 12, 13 years ago is when I ran into Joe Dispenza stuff. Him, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and all those guys. When Khadijah was talking about, Bruce Lipton wrote a book called The Biology of Belief, and it's like how we can actually change our DNA based on our belief systems. And what I have found super interesting is Joe is calling the mystical because in this 3D world, it is mystical, but it is our natural inheritance. And that's the thing. It's like, it's what we were born to do. And it's our limiting beliefs. And it's almost an unlearning of the things that we have learned, in this 3D thing, where the things that we consider mystical are just understanding a higher level of law more of a principle of unlearning the limiting beliefs and those things that are showing up in our lives, because inherently we are one, we are love. And when we start to shed away those other things, it's amazing what gets to show up for it. And so I stepped out of corporate about 7 years ago, started a business, and it has been so much fun watching my own growth, as well as the growth of, you know, my clients and everything else. But and Casey, I've known you now for 4 years, and when I met you, it was you were not who you are today. And for me to watch the unfolding of such a brilliant soul, it has, I mean, it just gives me love and hope and everything else, because I saw who you were, I see who you are today, and the journey that you have taken, and you are integrating all these principles, and you are taking them and activating them into your life. And for me, it's the biggest joy, because if we all are one, and every step you make is a step that I make, I'm grateful. And the power of having a group like this is multiplied, right? There's a concept 1 + 1 = 3, because when two people connect and the divine is involved in that, there is a multiplier effect that we do not get on our own. And so I'm grateful to be a part of this. I'm grateful to support you, and I'm excited to see what shows up.
If I could tag on to Randy's thing, if you guys don't know Lynn McTaggart and the Power of 8, check her out. Power of 8 is amazing. Really, it's like 8 people thinking about healing one person. You don't have to be even in proximity to the person, but they're healing people with eight people through energy. But the most amazing thing about it too is that the people who are the healers are actually getting more benefit than the healed. Is amazing. But so her name's Lynn McTaggart, McTaggert, and like she has a book, The Power of 8. She has a podcast. Everything. She's awesome.
I love that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Stacey, I love that. One of the things that I have experienced is, even with 2 people, right? And I've experienced this with Casey, I've experienced it with other people. Even when you have 2 people, they're in the space of just giving and giving and giving, there is a third divine that is created that, right? It's like, you know, I'll say something for Casey, and it's like, that's not me. I don't know where that came from, but it's a divine download. And Casey has done the same for me, where it's like, you know, it's like, wow. And it's one of those things where, as we learn to tap in and come from this space of love, it really is, come from a space of love and choosing to contribute to this collective, it's amazing what shows up. And you're right. It's like, I can say something for Casey, and it's like, it's a whole new learning for me. And the same thing for Casey. It's amazing how powerful the collective can be, just when we choose to come from this place of love.
My 2 cents about that is, when you come from a place of love, is like innocence. It's like not needing to know the answer. And I think, honestly, I think you're tapping into that super conscious, and the super conscious is giving you intuition. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
And that's like, because I feel like you get to even read Casey's, you know, like in that sense, it's all of our, like, it's our collective, right? Our collective consciousness. So, and you're tapping into that without maybe calling it anything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I agree.
Super cool.
I love that. One thing I want to add to that, Randy, is, as you're talking about, well, and Stacey, the Power of 8, right? Like the 1 + 1 = 3 and the Power of 8. As I was reading the foreword and the intro, another thing that I underlined, and I kind of had like a little vision of like, I don't know if it's this group that's going to morph into whatever, you know, like this is, but like this, it says, I will show you evidence that a group of people sitting in a room together can influence others sitting at some distance in the same room to go into heart coherence at the exact same time. And not even in the same room, right? Like in the same world. Like we literally have that effect. And I had this like vision almost of creating a group of people with that intention. And whether that, yeah. And so I don't know where that's going. I'm getting the chills as I'm talking about it, but like, that's where I'm aligned with. And that's, you know, as we're learning together, as we're growing, that's a possibility. I mean, having more intentional focus there too.
So all my classes are online, right? And so I've never, I actually get to go to Australia in a week and a half and go meet like my coach and the head of this school and everything. But so all my classes are online. And in one of our classes, we were doing this difference in the heart, like whether if you're codependent, what does that feel like from your heart? Or if you're putting up a wall to someone. And what's crazy is we stepped into being co-creators and feeling that and actually like visualizing the energy going back and forth, and you could feel it, like you could feel it. And then one of us put up a wall, like and the other person feel it and raise their hand, and it was totally simultaneous. Like you knew exactly when someone put the wall up. It was super wild.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, we have two more. Deborah, welcome. So glad to have you. We have time to yeah, you can unmute yourself.
I was on another one, so I was kind of doing half of that and half of this, so sorry about that.
No, you're totally fine. We're glad to have you.
Deborah's shirt, I just became an ASEA affiliate as well, an ASEA person.
Awesome.
It's so there you go. There you go.
That's awesome. So Deborah, we're just introducing ourselves. Tell us your name, where you're from, and then just something that you want to share with the group. Take about a minute or so.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Deborah Moore. I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas, and I've been dealing with a lot of health challenges for probably a couple decades, and it's like kind of the domino effect. And now I'm dealing with a really hard lung bacteria. It's called MAC, lung disease, and you get it from air, water, or dirt. So anyway, my what I'm trying to do is learn as much as I can everywhere, whatever, to help bring healing to my body, mind, and soul.
And what was that? MAC, what was that?
Oh, it's MAC is an acronym for Mycobacterium avium complex. It's a cousin to tuberculosis, but it's non-communicable. So I can't give it to anybody. Praise God about that. Yeah. And so I'm not a drug person. I didn't really want to be on it, but I got so bad because I had gotten COVID, and then I got pneumonia. Then I was in the hospital, and then I had a bronchoscopy, and that's where they go look down into your lungs. And then they got some sputum and tested it. Took 5 weeks, and now that's what I know. And that was actually a year ago this month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so in June will be a year when I started antibiotics, but about 7 weeks ago, I had been working with a Chinese doctor to try to do things more naturally, because the antibiotics were really causing a cytokine storm of immense pain in my body. Just not sustainable to really live, And so I thought, well, I had tried using it before and it didn't work. Then I tried again, but for longer, got a new job. Well, it had mold in it. I live in South Texas, and I'm actually considering moving somewhere where there's less mold, but that triggered me to go backwards. And I had to quit my new job before I even fully got started. Yeah.
Wow. So healing is a big thing for you. We were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing, Deborah. Deborah, have you received any emails that I have sent at this point?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, the book, I appreciate, because I'm not really making much money on occasion. I have a friend who owns a spa, and I'm an esthetician, so I work whenever I feel I can handle working.
yeah,
So other than that, so thank you for, I think it was Randy that put the book up.
yeah, it might have been, was it Randy or Mark? It might have been Mark.
Mark, it might have been Mark. Yeah, that's right, Mark.
I think it was
Yeah.
Mark, who's actually connecting to audio, and I hope he can join us via audio, because I don't know this man, and he's been super helpful in the chat. So
Yes,
We're-
that's
yeah, he's been very helpful. So he's connecting to audio right now. He keeps seems to be getting kicked on and off. So
gotcha. Well, thank you, and thank you for doing this. And
yes.
I've learned about Dr. Joe probably more like 7 or 8 years ago, I guess. Boy, time flies. And I've done it kind of off and on, but not consistent.
Yeah.
And that's something that I know I need to be consistent about. It's just, I have so many other things that, to do with taking care of this. But you know what? I have to put that in the pot, and I'm not working much right now. So, hey, I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're here, Deborah. Thank you. Okay, Mark, it still says he's connecting to audio. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go through the rest of the agenda, and hopefully when he gets connected, we can meet him and chat with him. So
Can I really quick just ask Deborah to just check her direct messages?
yes, Deborah, check your chats, please. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I will.
Awesome. Okay, so going through the rest of this agenda, I am open to, and again, because we're the core group in the first, we get to be the decision makers. So I'm open to moving days and times of the meeting if there's something that's more convenient. If Mondays at noon works the best, and when I say my time, I'm speaking Mountain Standard Time, so Utah time.
So I have as long as it's only 1 hour, because I have my coaching calls at 3 on Mondays. So Wednesday works better for me personally.
Would you rather do Wednesdays at noon or at 7 in the morning, which would be 9 your time? Noon. Do you guys have a preference what day and time we meet? And I'd like to keep it consistent throughout the whole thing. We may have to shift here and there, but
for me it's difficult to know what time are you talking about in Central European time, because for me now it's evening and it's perfect.
What time is it at your place right now?
Well, we started at 8 p.m.
So does Mondays or Wednesdays at the same time at 8 p.m. work for you, Justine?
The same time? Yes, of course.
Monday
is perfect, but Wednesday is feasible also, and the timing is ideal.
Okay. Mark, are you here? Can you unmute yourself and chat with us and introduce yourself? We're all so excited to meet you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to unmute yourself. Let me see if I can invite you to do that. But okay, I asked you to unmute. Let's see if, I don't know if you're gonna be able to. I know you said you were driving. So if you can, please unmute yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and move on until I hear your voice. So do we want to keep it Mondays at noon, or should we shift it to Wednesdays? Do we have a preference? Stacy just has to be done right at once. We only have that hour, which we could always go over a little. It might grow. Like I said, we had over 50 emails sent to me, so it may grow, which is going to change the dynamic, but we can shift as needed. So let's go ahead and shift it to Wednesday, because there are some Monday holidays like next week that will fall into place. So let's from now on do Wednesday at noon, which is Justine, 8 p.m. your time. Same time, just on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we will start that next Wednesday. So we're going to do Wednesdays at noon is the winner. Okay. Communication. So I do have that chat that I started. I am open to creating just a Facebook group or community just for us. Do you guys have a preference on communication?
I think if all those other people aren't going to come, maybe do the Facebook group and just invite, like tell everyone the link in the Zoom. So
That was my thought as well. Whoever is active and who actually shows up to our Zoom calls, they can be invited to our Facebook group, or we can have even a separate group and chat as well. So I'll go ahead and create that and we can decide. I know, Stacey, you have to leave in just a few minutes.
I'm okay because I don't have a coaching call today.
Oh,
But
okay, perfect. Awesome. Awesome. I was trying to kind of like move forward so that you could be a part. Okay, so Facebook, we could do a group and just have our active members a part of that group. And as people show up, they can be invited. Do you guys like a Facebook chat as well, or is just that page sufficient?
Is there something that shows up for me?
Yeah.
What if you had like a separate headline or title or something like that, but you kept it in the Facebook group, almost as a way to attract new people that are interested in that group?
Like in the big group, have like a subgroup?
Yeah. So you have it in the big group, and there's like a title or something that specifically calls out to us. But I mean, you've got a ton of people in there, and maybe they haven't seen it, or maybe they're not aware of it. This group can benefit a lot of people, and if we close it off just to a small group, we may not be able to attract those people that are ready for it at whatever time. So if we kept it in the big group, it might be something where we're able to communicate within this subgroup, but yet call in the people that are ready for what we have.
I feel like that big group is the calling in of them. And then if they come to the Zoom meeting, that's them showing up. And then they get to the other group page, to the private group page. Personal opinion.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. This is also where I don't know Facebook very well. I'm not like a social media person, but
I am
love
learning so much. So
yeah. So I love what you're saying, Randy, because I do like where we can still have a smaller, intimate with the active people, right? Who choose to be active, but also a way to be out there for anyone in the bigger group who wants to join, so that they have the opportunity if they come across it, so that they have the opportunity to come across it more so.
you're saying so that they don't have to join a Zoom call to be able to get into Zoom, which is fine.
Well, I think we'll keep it on a Zoom call, but I think what he's saying more so is just keeping it more public, keeping our subgroup more public, so that people are aware that we are doing this. So then if they want to join the Zoom group and become active, then they can do that. Randy, I'm gonna message you after this. Let's chat more about that, because I love that idea. Do you know how to do that, or any idea on that?
No.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I will gladly say I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I just know this group is important, and I would love to have as many people come in. And I love the intimacy of being able to have these conversations. And so it's not, for me, there is never an either an or. It's always, how do we create an and to make that work?
I like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, so I will do some digging and playing around. Randy, maybe you can help me, and we'll go from there. So I'll keep you posted on that end. As far as expectations, this is the one thing I will not have any tolerance for, is spamming. Like, no spamming of selling anything, no spamming of come to this page or that meditate. Like, I'm all about supporting that, but this space is not for that. If you have something that you want to promote, I am happy to help you promote that on my big page. But this group is very intentional and very focused on this book, reading this book, learning together, and creating these healing opportunities and these mystical experiences for ourselves and sharing them with each other. So that's one big thing. Second thing, do the work. We talked about this already. You are your own creator. You are your own savior. You're your own healer. You're your own everything. And I used to feel a lot of pressure when I would say that, like with that realization, I was like, it's all on me. You know what I mean? Like that feels like a lot. And it is. And it's also a beautiful opportunity, right? There's no pressure. If you choose to do nothing with it, you're still going to be where you're at right now. It's not going to get worse, right? Like you're doing the best you can. As we are more intentional with where we spend our energy, our focus, and the people we surround ourselves with, things start shifting. And that's, again, the intention of the community that I want to create. So this is all about internal work. One of the things that I did find about myself is I love personal development. And I realized about myself the last few years, I have been doing the work externally. I am going to all of the Zooms. I've been going to all of the meetings. I've been doing all the things, and it's been awesome. I've been learning a lot and understanding a lot, but that is not where we heal. We do not heal up here. We heal in our hearts. And so I realized for myself, I created an identity of doing the work, but it was still external. And so this is one thing that I really, for myself, and want to just, stay in integrity with, is the work is internal. This is my work. And this community is also to support that. Hey guys, I'm having a really tough time right now. Like if I need to reach out and I'm, feeling like Stacy's my person, that I don't know why, Stacy, but I feel to reach out to you. Right. Then I'm going to, and that we have created that connection, and that I trust my intuition, and I trust Stacy's, how she's been showing up, that there's a purpose behind that, but that it is still my work. My work is my work. And going to the next bullet point, we are all walking side by side with each other. There is not one person leading. There's not anyone following. Just because I've created this group, just because I've created the large group, does not mean that I'm the leader. We are all side by side learning together from each other's experiences. We all have something to offer. We are all leaders, and we all have something to learn from each other. And so it is very much the vision that I have, is we're holding hands, walking side by side. And then the last point here that I have is, and this dynamic, again, I was planning for a lot more people on today's call. Like I said, I got over 50 people saying that they wanted to be a part of it, which great. If they come, awesome. If they don't, awesome. It's a different dynamic, and that's great. As we have a smaller group, the benefit is we get to be way more personal. We get to dive deeper with each other and get to know each other if we're willing to put ourselves out there. And so I love this. I actually love that this is how it's starting, because we already have started that process, and it's up to us. It's up to us how deep we choose to go with each other. Okay. Now I have this 6E bullet point with the assumption that we are going to grow, and that as we grow and we have 50 plus, maybe 100 plus people on a call, if there's any comment or question or anything that you want addressed in a Zoom, and I still would encourage this just for my sake of I might already be covering it, or I might already have something related, and I'd love to bring it in. It's another great point that I could bring in, right? Just send it to me beforehand. But again, with these numbers, we can be very intimate in our conversations and in the chat and things like that. So
I can also tell you how it works in these classes is we use the chat a lot, and if there's the main person, like if you were the main person, and then there's all these helpful people that will pull questions out of the chat and then line them up for the group in case a question came up, maybe when you were in group too, is all I was thinking.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and truthfully, if and when this does grow, you guys would be the people that I look for that help, right? Like this is where we have the experience, we have that bond, and we're building that together. That I love that idea, Stace, because then it still does give. I am huge into authenticity and real life stuff. I don't like recorded stuff as much. I love the interaction, I believe in intuition right now. You know, if you're feeling something, share it. If I'm feeling something, I'll share it. Like there's so much power in the now. In fact, that's where it's all at, right? And so the more that we can be present with those questions and stuff, I love that idea. And so as we grow, we'll talk about that and we'll morph as needed, you know, and I bring on the input, bring on the feedback and how you've experienced things. I love that. So the last thing I'll share here is just the best way to contact me. My Facebook is Casey Dawn. You can follow me there, or we have that messenger right now with a lot of people active in it. I am going to look into another option like Brandy was suggesting, if there is a subgroup that we can have, and I'll find a way to kind of make that more smooth for right now. So stay tuned on that end. But is there anything from you guys?
There's something I'd like to share.
Yeah.
Because I think it's pertinent to this group and the people that we have here. I've been involved in a group coaching beta group for about the last week and a half, and there are 3 guys on there, and they're people that I followed for a long time. And I did about 3 years ago, I did a group coaching, and for me, it didn't feel like it was as fulfilling, and it was where I was at the time. And this one has been really fulfilling, and they've got like 2,800 people in the beta group. But one of the things that I've noticed is they will bring on like 4 or 5 different people, and they will actually coach them as we are all in this session. And it's amazing how much commonality has shown up, or how many things that I have been able to learn from them coaching someone else that had something about me. And I think we could bring that dynamic as well into this, where, you know, everybody has a voice, and so many times the voice is not heard or the voice is not communicated. But if we could just have these open dialogues like you're talking about, people will get powerful messages out of it because of what you're choosing to do and how you're choosing to show up.
I love that. So what I'm hearing you say, or at least what I'm understanding, let me make sure I'm on the same page, is those questions, like essentially not being afraid, no matter how large the group is, of doing the live stuff, doing the live coaching, doing the live, like right there on the spot, that they bring something up and let's dive right into it if they're willing.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. When you create a container where there's vulnerability, I mean, on Wednesday we had a call, and this woman came out, and she was like a train wreck, and she was bawling, and she was just being completely vulnerable about where she was at with her business, with all the barriers that she was facing. And it was like, I have been there, and I've got some of those pieces still. And it's like, when a person can show up in that space, and when you can hold a container for that space, there are so many people that can benefit from that. And so it's just a powerful thing when people get together and you create a container that's safe, where a person, you know, can bawl her eyes out and saying, this is what's going on with me right now. And you have, you know, a mentor that can say, I get that. And, you know, and then kind of dissect it and unpack it, and then create a space for everybody to feel that, because, you know, we think we're so unique, and we are, and yet we're all the same in a lot of the things that we're going through, especially as we're growing our businesses and doing our things. I just think creating the container and creating a space for safety will benefit everybody.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Randy. And I think that falls right in alignment with what I want to create. Absolutely.
Great.
The last thing I'll share is we're just going to do a chapter a week. I just put a chapter a week, keeping it simple to keep track of. Most of the chapters are about 4 or 5 pages a day is what that will average in reading. There are some shorter chapters, like once we get to the case studies, which will allow time to dive deeper into the case studies, ask questions, or catch up for those who may not be caught up. But we're just going to do a chapter a day. So today we did kind of the welcome. We talked about the forward and introduction a little bit, but it was more just kind of like, this is, let's go, you know, what can we expect? So I will send this as well as the agenda out to those of you that have been active today. Again, I will keep you posted on our chat and what I'm creating to be more intimate in our communications in that way. And is there any last comments before we depart?
It's a big thank you. Yeah.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for showing up.
I'm
I'm excited.
sorry. I have one question. Can
Yeah.
did I understand, is the book available online somewhere, or?
So Mark in our chat did put in a couple links, and I can actually add that in the email as well. So
Yes, please, because
Mhm.
I did not see the links.
Are you in the chat, the Becoming Supernatural chat? It was kind of like a sub chat. It was my first time ever doing that, so I don't really know how it works. I was like, this looks cool. Like, let's try that. So I think it's just a chat for anyone in the big group to be a
Mhm.
part of. And so if you haven't, I will put a link to that chat and also a link to what Mark has shared in that chat, because he said that there are some things like on YouTube or things like that. So I will share all of that via email. Let me just make sure I have all of your guys' email handy so that I have, okay, so I have Khadijah, Randy, I have yours. Justina, what is your email?
Mine?
Yeah, what's your email?
Yeah, you gave me, you sent me the link to the Zoom by mail. So I received 2 mails from you today.
Okay, so you're in, okay, I see you. So I will just send it via email and all that information, okay? Sound good?
Mhm.
Okay, and Deborah, you got it also, so you'll get that as well. Yeah, I'll just resend it with a little bit more detail with what Mark has shared.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome, Justine. Thank you all for showing up. I'm super grateful for you and really excited to dive deep.
I have learned so much about Facebook. If you guys need any help, just
Yes. Yes, and actually, Stace, let's connect. I'm gonna DM you real quick, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so stay on, Stace, and just get my message. But okay, other than that, thank you all. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll see you Wednesday.
Mhm. Yeah. Hey, woman.
Oh, hey, it's just us. Okay, cool. Hey, woman, let's connect. Okay, so I was just texting you. Actually, my phone number.
Okay.
It's because a couple thoughts also with my Facebook group. I love interviewing people.
Mhm.
And it's like probably my biggest passion is interviewing people and doing live interviews. And so I'm working on
Right?
what?
Podcaster then, right?
I know, but all this technology stuff, like, I don't know. And
So
so
I
like,
was like a tech tard, I used to say, right? And like I've been thrown into this world of tech because of this business course where we're doing organic social media is like how I'm gonna make my business. And it's
Yeah.
a lot of tech. Yeah.
it is. And so I kind of in the past, I've gotten to the point where it's just like, it's too much and I don't want to learn it truthfully. And I'm not in a place to be able to hire it all out. And so it's just like, it is what it is. Right. But now I am in the place of like learning some stuff. Like I just got to take the next step, like just break it down. But one of the things that I'm creating is I want to gear up to do, and I'm all about live. I love the live stuff. I don't love the recorded stuff. So it would probably be a Zoom live. Oh, you know what? I got to stop recording this.
I was just thinking that too. I was like, well, now you're